Welcome back, everybody, and it's Tiaki and I for the final match of this Playday and the final match of the regular season as well. Tiaki, how are we feeling after that last game?
I mean, that last game was a game to remember. Bandits versus Panic 7-4. Such an amazing match to watch. And if you weren't here, make sure you go and check the VOD because it was a very good match. But yeah, let's continue. I mean, we've got Naughty Sausages versus Altered Edge.
And what a game to finish us off for today. Obviously, Altered Edge and Naughty Sausages, plenty of room for both these teams to still move on the leaderboard, even with the results that have come through tonight. So definitely some influential games here. And I'm pretty sure that Altered Edge, if they win this one, they can get to that playoffs, I do believe. But Naughty Sausages, they are in... if they lose, they also lose that playoffs, I'm pretty sure, is what we discussed. But I don't know if that's confirmed with the results that we've had tonight. But definitely some influential game. Definitely an influential game. And I think it's whoever brings more to the table this game, Tiaki. But who did you have for winning this game?
Well, I had Naughty Sausages, one of my favorite teams all the way. Absolute gunners when it comes out to this. And as you can see via the map bans, we've got Theme Park, Bank, Border, Skyscraper removed off the board. And Altered Edge coming in to ban off Chalet, Oregon, Cafe, and Villa. So we will be going over to Clubhouse, which will be Naughty Sausages' pick. And they will be going on to the defensive side. So... Clubhouse, what do you think about it, KJ? And who did you pick?
I picked Altered Edge, so we're a bit of a rivalry on this one. And I think, we get to see three different maps today. Obviously, we just had Skyscraper with that Panic versus Bandits game. We had Oregon earlier with that Nutty versus Trident game. So three different maps today and, three different winners. But on this one, we are torn. I think Altered Edge, especially on a map like Clubhouse, should definitely have the edge in this one. And even though they are on that attack, we do know that Clubhouse, it's been a staple of this game and has been in the comp pool since the very beginning. And obviously it had its rework very, very long ago. But for the most part, most teams should be very, very comfortable on this map. It's just who can bring the better plays and the better energy, the better kills, the better rounds today for this final play day. And I think Altered Edge can do it. But Naughty Sausages, I'd imagine, would put up a fight. And we discussed earlier, Tiaki, with Chef, that this would be probably an overtime game. Do you think that will be also the case, or do you reckon it'll be a different story?
Well, I mean, we're talking about Naughty Sausages. It's a team of fraggers. It's a team of very quick players. They like to play aggressive. They like to find the kills. They like to spawn peek. We know that for sure. They absolutely love to spawn peek. And on the side of Altered Edge, they're more reserved. They take their time in trying to identify the best way to approach it and the best way not to approach it. So it will be very interesting to see how these two teams go. But I believe Naughty Sausages will come ahead, and I believe it's going to be probably like the last match, possibly a 7-4 if Altered Edge can find their footing. In the most recent weeks, they have not been able to, KJ, but we must be getting to the end, and they will be ready for this fight.
Well, I think with how influential this game can be, it could really motivate players to give it their all. And Malachi giving us a good old salute before we begin. Same with Voon. So a bit of a send-off for the last game, maybe. Or maybe they're saying goodbye to their opponents on the side of Naughty Sausages, saying that we've got this in the bag. But Naughty Sausages, they're going to be the first to ban, and a very strong ban on a map like Clubhouse. Habana being off the board, you're not able to open up those hatches as freely as you can with her ex-Kairos. But second ban to come out, and that's an interesting one. Not an uncommon ban on Clubhouse, but a Monty ban nonetheless is can make a lot of teams sort of reconsider how they're going to push. Some teams love utilizing the Monty, especially when taking those rafters on that CC site. But Azami to follow, Tiaki, and what do you reckon the last one will be?
Well, last one is all of our favorites, KJ. I mean, it's the ban that has been banned for millennia, it feels like, especially within these last 2 seasons. I'm going to say it's a Soulless being brought in here as a ban, and it is... I'm completely wrong. It's a Valkyrie being brought in. So that's a lot of intel denial coming in there from her removal. Those black eye cams obviously being such a pest in their positions, and IQ being one of those bands that you commonly see being brought in. Now, Naughty Sausages, they've also brought in an interesting player. Captain Oz has jumped in for the Pulse immediately. So that's going to be a bit interesting. We know of Captain Oz. He's very good with that shotgun on that Pulse. So it is a very scary outlook for these teams. But immediately, as you said, we will be going to the bottom floor.
Yeah, I think not banning the Pulse when you've got Captain Oz on the team, it could be either a mistake or, you know, a blessing. Maybe he's not feeling it today, but I doubt it. Captain Oz is pretty good on that Pulse, and it'll be interesting to see how Altered Edge play against him, because it can be deadly, especially on a site like Basement. You're able to get a lot of intel and C4 potential, and if you have a look, there's 3 C4s on the side of Naughty Sausages, so Altered Edge, they're going to be careful. But I imagine that they'd have that idea in mind. They know how Captain Oz would play, and they're bringing the right things to deal with it. They've got the buck, they've got the sledge, so they can do that vert safely from Logi if they wish to do so, but they've also got the fuse, so that's an addition that I like to see, Tiaki. Fuse is so strong, especially on that site, and you can either get the vert really easily or even get some kills.
Yeah, well, we've seen him used in 2 different places. Most of the time, they like to set it up, and here we go with the spawn peak immediately as Captain Oz will decide to fall back. It looks like he's not going to get too aggressive on the angle, as he will just decide to make his way back out of this position. But yeah, as you were saying with the fuse, we like to see it set up inside of kitchen. Can get you a few kills, maybe if a team is in a very bad position for themselves. But it can also be used all the way from Logi, as you said, which means that it can fully open up everything inside of kitchen, and you can get some pretty easy map control by taking it as well. So we'll start to see the movement coming in from the fuse and the rest of the team as they look to try and open it up inside of Master.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going for, you know, your typical roam clear. They're doing not too bad, but they are going to have to start pressuring that first floor if they don't want to run out of time, because the site is Basement. You spend too long up here roam clearing, you're going to run out of time for that execute, and Naughty Sausages will just play off of that. But Hills, he finds a knife and 2 frags. How has he managed to do this? Where did that even take place? Bit of a misplay from Altered Edge. They did find the pick onto him as well as Captain Oz, so not all is lost. But Rico and Malachi are the only ones left to clutch it out, and they're not aware of Harry M's position. They're going to be careful here, but now his presence will be known as the shots will be traded back. But this is not a good look for Altered Edge right now.
Well, Rico will silence it a little bit, and he'll be able to bring it back. Harry M's position will be known. Malachi's not going to take any damage, but the back and forth will go through. Harry's able to confirm the kill onto Malachi as Rico will start making his way down, able to confirm the kill onto Harry. And now it is all down to Hale. Hale has gone all the way upstairs, back down towards the site. Can look to possibly drop down. We'll see the hatch being opened. So now he knows he can make that drop. Plant is going to be attempted by Rico. They need to clear out this player. He will hear the drop, but does need to start getting this plant down. The peak will come through by both, as Hale will wide swing it, not able to confirm the kill there, but a little bit more damage is going to be put down. No impact nades for Hale, as the diffuser will be attempted. 10 seconds remaining. Hale's going to slow his way forward. It will be completed, but Rico will be taken down, and Hale will find the kill. He's actually run into the the Kai trap.
Yeah, the Electro Claw doing some damage and electrifying his death. Bit of a BM. And a free kill for the Cade there. I don't know. Does it count as a kill, or is it just the finish?
It counts as a kill.
Does it? Wow. Unfortunate, but first round, you know, it's sort of a testing round, I like to say. Both teams get a feel for how each other are playing, and even though the result may go one team's way, it can warm up the other team and sort of get them to focus up a little bit. But Naughty Sausages, they get that advantage. They get that one round up, and they start us off here on Clubhouse. They're going to move to that CC site. So a bit of a more common site to see. We have been seeing Jim being the choice rather than CC, but you know, Naughty Sausages, they're a bit more of a classic team. They like CC. They know what needs to be done. They know what needs to be held. They're going to continue that classic trend, but they're bringing some interesting operators. They've got the double util denial of the Jaeger and the Wamai. They've got the Frost for any cheeky jump-ins, but we're seeing a Doc and a Mozzie. Now, you know, Mozzie is a pretty common op to see on just about anything, but Doc, we don't get to see too much of him. But he is definitely a viable operator to bring. Being able to heal your teammates up to that full HP, definitely useful.
Well, we'll start to see the push coming through. 3 members from the side of Altered Edge are going to be spawning out on the western side, out towards Warehouse. I believe it's Warehouse, correct me if I'm wrong. But at the moment, it looks like they'll make their way through. Harry M is going to start us off here, as he'll find the first kill onto a player outside of the garage. And it will actually be probably the biggest pick that he was looking for. Rico, the thermite, is going to be taken out. How absolutely insane.
It's not a player that you want to be losing, but Malachi, he makes Hail fall, and that's your Doc, so no cheeky heals or medic activity is going to be coming through from him. But yeah, the Thermite being off the board, luckily they do have that backup of the Ace. But Harry, he's being an absolute menace. You mentioned the Warehouse earlier, but this is Harry's house. He's stopping anyone from coming in, and he's able to shut down the Thatcher. Orion to find Malachi, and it's all falling apart as he finds Boone as well. It's all left to Owen in a 1v4. Is it plausible, Tiaki?
It most certainly is, but he needs to find a lot of headshots and a lot of players soon, and it will immediately be cut off. Captain Oz just straight able to pick up the kill straight off the back, and this is looking like a normal ranked game. If I'm honest with you, it is feeling like it at this stage. They are just playing so incredibly well in their playstyle so far, and I mean, there's just no way to counteract it. How do you counteract this? Please tell me, KJ, because I'm lost.
I think it's just Altered Edge. They're being too comfortable. They're not checking the right things. You know, they were able to find a cheeky spawn peak, but they're a little bit more cautious of the way that Naughty Sausages is playing, checking those spawn peak angles, having maybe a drone or two in positions where you could get spawn peaked from. You can be a little bit more aware. And then if you lose the gunfight or the pick from there, then it's not really anybody's fault or the team's fault. It's just that you lost the gunfight there. But I think for Altered Edge, they just need to be aware. Because right now, all these engagements, it seems like they're just being caught off guard. And if they have a little bit more awareness about them, they can definitely find a round here as we go to round 3, which is the gym bedroom site. But see, the thing is, not banning this mirror, you're going to have to come against it. And when Habana isn't in play, that is a very annoying operator to have to deal with. You either have to go below and clear it, maybe get a cheeky Twitch thrown in if you're lucky. But with the lineup that they have, their best bet is probably to get a nade on it below and maybe clear it from there, because they don't even have a buck or anything like that to open it. And once again, I'm talking about this awareness, Tiaki, and unfortunate for Malachi the knock, he's not aware of Oz, and he is able to shut him down with that big shotgun of his.
The bans are so inconsequential compared to the players. Immediately, Hale's able to find a kill, and now Harry M is finding a kill. This is the momentum shift that I was talking about with Naughty Sausages. The second that you give them the ability to just start running it, they will take it to the ends of the earth. And right now, we are starting to see that 2 members from the side of Altered Edge still remain, Rico and Owen being the last two. Now, in their position, they've managed to open up a little bit of the wall, but it looks like everything is just completely slowed down as captain. Oh no. He'll find another, as Rico will be the last man standing. He's got to find 5 and won't even find the first.
Yeah, flawless round from Naughty Sausages. They're really feeling themselves now, and they're in their groove. They're in their momentum. So I think that for Altered Edge, they need to shut it down now in this next round. It's a good thing that they took the timeout. I think they need a reset. We're about halfway through into the first half. So they need to find what is the key issue here. And I think, you know, if they're listening, if they're dialed into what we're saying, I think the issue here is still that they're not aware. They're skipping steps. It seemed that for the most part, Malachi, who was the first to fall in that last round, he just sort of stormed in. I don't know if they had a drone in there, but he was confident enough to just walk right in. But he was met by, you know, one of the players of Naughty Sausages, and you can't be losing picks like that, especially on attack. You have to work against the clock, and when you're working against the clock, you have to make sure that you're not losing picks so early. And I think going into this next round, hopefully that timeout cleared some things up and they can get themselves going for round 4. As you know, Naughty Sausages, they've done a complete cycle of their defensive site, so everything is that they started with is back open. They can go back down to that basement site. But do you reckon this will continue, Tiaki, or do you reckon Altered Edge will finally bounce back?
I mean, with the play styles, with the play between these two teams right now, Naughty Sausages, they are the ones that are just looking in really good control. They know what they're doing. They know how they're playing. They are spawn peeking for the majority of this. And it is just... it is a scary fact that they are doing that. I mean, even with this timeout, if it starts in the same situation to cause the same sort of issues, like Harry gets as an example, he goes for this spawn peek and it happens, then it will unravel everything that Altered Edge are trying to do. They won't be able to do anything else with their ability, and it's just gonna cause everything to go. Basically, it's gonna end it all.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that, you know, 3 rounds up, it's still doable for Altered Edge, but if they're in their heads, if they ruined the mental already, it could be GG for a lot of teams. But I'd imagine that Altered Edge, you know, they would bring themselves together in that timeout. And I think if they have, then this round can definitely be theirs. But they just gotta be careful of the way that Naughty Sausages is playing. You can see that most of the time they're playing solo. They're playing by themselves. So if you double up, you get some intel going, you can shut those singular players down. And it looks like they're sort of falling off. They're not playing as aggressive here on that second floor as they did previously. They're going to just try and hold this first floor. And Harry, he's just sitting below this hatch, waiting for one to fall into his arms. But he's just waiting patiently and allowing an Altered Edge to fall into him, not the other way around.
Well, it looks like Altered Edge, they're starting to make a bit of movement, trying to see if they can spot someone below. I believe they may actually know where Harry is. The live pings are going to start to come out, so they know that he's made a move. But look at the time. Look at how much time they've given, has already been removed off the board. 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now down to 1 minute and 10, and they really haven't gotten a lot of map control. Still haven't cleared out the first floor completely, haven't opened up everything that they need to, and now only now are they starting to make a bit of an aggressive sort of play and moving their players into the correct positions. Owen's able to find the first, which is exactly what you want, but there's Captain Oz to counter it.
Unlucky for Voon, he didn't quite have the crosshair placement there, and the shotgun, you don't really need crosshair placement with that. You just sort of spray in that general direction, and it'll do the rest for you, and he wins the better of that engagement. But he is left to that low HP. It is a 4v4, but 32 seconds left on the board. Captain Oz is going for a flank, so they're going to be careful. They're going to be aware of this. Malachi, he is on top of this motor hatch, but he isn't quite aware that Captain Oz is up here. He's able to whip out the pistol, find the head of Malachi. It's just all over now. They're sort of stuck in a hard place. Orion, he finds Owen, but River does find two, so not all is lost, but he does fall to Orion in blue, and it's all left to Rico. He finds the Malusi, but he's got to stick the plant now. So if Captain Oz continues, he can finish him off.
I'll be honest with you. From our point of view, that looked like he wasn't hitting any of his shots.
Hey man, it happens. It happens. But he hit enough to finish it. He hit enough to finish him.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And right now, we're 4-0. Naughty Sausages are in really good control. And I'm sorry, you were going to say?
This is not at all the game that we expected. Hey, Tiaki.
It's not at all. I expected this game to be at least a little bit closer. I expected for Naughty Sausages to, well, for Altered Edge to really have a say, really have a bit of a comeback and start talking up against these teams. But right now, with these players, it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. I mean, Captain Oz, he is 6-1.
He's doing work, that is for sure, and it's sort of interesting though, because if you have a look at the kills, they've all, played their part. They've all done something within the rounds that have sort of passed already, so it's not like there's one sort of shining key player. Everyone's putting in the work for Naughty Sausages, and unfortunately for Altered Edge, it's not the same story. I'm sure that, kills don't mean everything. And I'm sure that some of those players on that side have allowed their teammates to get those kills off of other reasons. Maybe some intel, maybe some drones. But on the side of Naughty Sausages, they're just sharing around the frags. And they're having a lot of fun by the looks of it as well. And Altered Edge, they need an answer here.
No, Hale. Don't do it. I know what you're thinking, bro. It's not the best idea. I'm sure you know what he's thinking as well there, KJ. Let's spawn pick. Let's find that early kill. Let's see if we can make something out of it. But it doesn't look like it's going to be that significant this time. Rico's going to start making his way up. He'll be able to successfully open that wall, which is a good start. As now Captain Oz will look to get a bit aggressive, but Voon will immediately shut that down. Orion is going to be in the position to try and see if he can get a counter pick, but it's not going to be prepped just yet. Voom waiting for the call that he can move ahead, waiting for the drones to come through. We'll open it up, and Owen will immediately be able to find the kill onto Orion. Nitrosil will go out, but there's not really much more say that Naughty Sausages can find here unless they get this kill, and they will be able to confirm it.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that, you see what happens when Altered Edge, they play together. They play a 2vx sort of situation where there might be more than one player, but for the most part, Captain Oz, he plays by himself. So the fact that they triple stacked that. So if one was to fall, the second or the third should definitely find them, and they were able to find two. Unfortunately, Voon, he got a little bit, he stepped a little bit too quickly, and he was able to fall victim to the sights of Naughty Sausages, and now they're that one man down, but they still have that one man advantage, so they still can succeed on this execute. Owen, as I say that, he decides to do a cheeky jump in, but falls victim to Hale. Hills to find River, and it's all falling apart for Altered Edge. I don't know what's happened, but they're slowly losing their grip on this round, and that's not a position you want to be in.
Owen fell into a frost mat. Malachi is able to pick up Hills, and that will slow down this round just that little bit more. They've got cover on both of their angles as it's a 1-on-1, but Rico will peak at the same time of the confusion. And it looks like Naughty Sausages will not pick up the round. Altered Edge will pick up their first, but don't get too happy about it, Voon. You've still got a few more rounds to go. I mean,
He's
How do we
getting
feel about
happy,
that?
but they need that. They need that win. You know, being happy and whatnot, it breaks that momentum of Naughty Sausages. They needed that round win, and I think, you know, getting all excited, regardless of the scoreline, they need that in their mental right now. And it looks like Naughty Sausages, they're going to give this site another go. So, final round of this half, and if Altered Edge can find another round here, it's not all doom and gloom. I think that's not a bad position to be in going over onto that defense for the second half. So, do you reckon they can do it, Tiaki?
If they go over onto the defense, I'm still going to say it's the same scoreline as I mentioned. I'm predicting a 7-4. I think that's the best that they will be able to do in this game. So far, Naughty Sausages have just been showing how incredibly well they can play together. And, I mean, there's just no other way to really look at it. They have been working so incredibly well in their play styles. And right now, we're starting to see the efforts coming out from that. I mean, a 4-1. It was good to see that Altered Edge were able to find one of those rounds. But even then, they were still making mistakes. Frostmat kills, trade-off shots, and all that sort of stuff was all happening. They were able to secure it in the end. But I mean, it was a very tough one to secure.
It was, but, you know, we've seen teams do so well in the first half, and we saw it just earlier with the Nutty and Trident game, where they did so well being on that defense, but as soon as they were on the attack, it all went wrong from there. So hopefully that's not the same story for Naughty Sausages. Hopefully they can continue that momentum and the success that they've had on this defense so far onto that. But Altered Edge play their cards right, they can make the comeback. It's definitely doable. But
Hope and prayers there, KJ.
it is all an idea at this point. It needs to come to fruition. But Voon and Owen are off the board for Altered Edge this round, and it's looking pretty rough. They still have the hard breach of Rico, and they still have the Thatcher, so they still can open up these walls and add that pressure, maybe get some picks, but they do have Captain Oz below on that pole, so they're going to be careful of his presence, and they don't fall victim to that shotgun. I do believe he's ready to use that C4, so they don't have to worry about that. But Hills does have a C4, but he is in the site, so all is good for now.
The utility from the side of Altered Edge is extremely low, literally to the point where they have no more drones. They have no more intel grab that they can get. So now it just comes to a one-on-one. Hills is going to make a Hail Mary play and is able to pick up on to Malachi. Rico and River will find one each, and that will sort of bring this round back just a little bit, but you can already see it here. Harry's going to be able to find a kill onto River. Rico is going to be taken down by Harry again. That's a triple kill for him as the round ends up. 5-1 is at the split at the half. And this is terrifying for Altered Edge as they now move into defense. And we both said it. This map is very defender-sided.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's as I think with the way that these teams play, it probably is more defender-sided. But I think the map as a whole, it's not as defender-sided. But with all these spawn peaks, with all the aggression coming from Naughty Sausages, it definitely works in their favor. I think Altered Edge, they're not quite able to match that energy whilst they were on the attack. So maybe on the defense, they can sort of match it, shut down this confidence, this ego peaking from Naughty Sausages. Otherwise, if they don't do it now, the game's sort of lost at this point. But, you know, we're moving on to that second half. Surely a reset of the mentals, a reset of the game for them. They still have rounds to work with. It's not match point just yet, but they are one round away. So I think if Altered Edge can open up this round and win this first opening round of their defense, it could set a sort of catalyst for them winning some future rounds. But hopefully they have an answer. Otherwise, this is going to be an entirely dominant performance from Naughty Sausages.
Now, hold on one second. When did Captain Oz become Hills and Hills become Captain Oz? I don't know, but it looks like a little bit of a switch up going on there. A little bit of a switcheroo. They might have even gone into each other's rooms and completely switched up, so they're playing on different computers. You never know. You never know. But looking there with Owen, the amount of keyboards you have on your back, my friend, you're gonna need to use all of them to make sure that you guys can push forward here. As you said, KJ. There has been a lot of back and forth with teams getting so high up at the beginning of a half, and then the switch up comes through, and then they just lose it all. So it all depends on how they approach this, and immediately you can see the spawn peek coming into play. Malachi's going to try spawn peeking there, but immediately spotted out, so he'll fall back. And I believe, is that only Orion making the push? Wow, River, that's a shot and a half.
He timed that one perfectly, and that's what you need if you're Altered Edge. I think now you can sort of fall off, but look at this. They're rushing through, Joe. They've got the blitz in front. He's going to be the real spearhead of this push. If they can make this work, if they can open up that barricade, it could be all over for Altered Edge, but they got a shotgun of Pulse right back at you. And River finds his second. Rico to find Hale. It's all left to Harry M and Hills in a 2v5. Harry finds the first. Hills finds the second. And things aren't looking as grim now. And only a minute into the round, and so much action has already unfolded.
Well, now they can start to slow it down. They've already pushed a minute down on the board, and they can start to look to open up these hatches. Try and see if they can get a possible area to make a drop through. Harry's even going to fall all the way back and maybe look if he can try and find something upstairs. We'll notice the hole will be open there. Won't find anyone in that position, so he can just fall off. As you said, a minute and 30 seconds are on the board, and it is still looking doable.
Yeah, they have a lot of time to play with and sort of work out how they can shut down these positions of these defensive players. And Voon, he's got this sort of pixel onto short. If he plays his cards right, can get a pick onto Harry here, who's probably going to try and push there now, but unfortunately, he does not connect those shots. River to find his third, though, onto Hills. And he's been going off this round. Voon to find the second. And that is the end of the first round. And this is what I'm talking about. Altered Edge. On the switch up, they were able to find this first round of the defense, but there's a lot of work to do. That is the start. That can be the catalyst to these next few rounds. They just need to use this to continue. They need to play on the fact that they just won the last round, and they won it from the aggression and the same sort of play style that they saw from Naughty Sausages. And, you know, some of the picks came from a little bit of a rush, a little bit of a risky play from Naughty Sausages, so I would imagine they're not going to do that again. So this time, Altered Edge, they're going to be a little bit more cautious with the way that they're playing and hope that they don't run into the lines of sight of Naughty Sausages.
Well, I got a question for you, KJ.
What's the question?
How many keyboards does Owen have?
Well, I think the better question is how many keyboards has he built? Because that man builds his own keyboards and very talented at it. This isn't like an advertisement or anything, but he definitely knows his stuff, and you can see that by the amount of keyboards he has in the back. But I imagine the one that he's using is his favorite, at least for the moment. And I'm sure he's locked in with it as well. But which one do you think he likes the best? Or which one do you like the best out?
I think I like the very back left one.
The one with the blue and the red and the white keycaps?
I don't think it's got any keycaps. I think it's just the one at the very back left. Well, regardless, the keyboards are in play, and so is Owen and the rest of his team. A little back and forth chat there as Captain Oz will look to open up this wall. There we go. He got the right gadget out, and he's ready to run. Rico will find the first kill, and that is the momentum that Altered Edge were looking for. Now they need to find a little bit more. What is Harry doing?
He is getting aggressive. He's getting active. He wants to get that pick. He wanted to make a play, but unfortunately it didn't work in his favor. And he will fall victim to Malachi. And you can see that at Altered Edge, they were stacking up well together. If one was to fall to Harry, I'm sure that one of them was there to back each other up. And being 2-man advantage up right now, that is a good position to secure this round. They just need to play it safe. They need to play together. So once again, if one was to fall, they can trade it out. But Jacuzzi wall will be open. And like we were talking about earlier, Tiaki, you know, the keyboards, it doesn't matter what keyboard you're running. It matters how you utilize the said equipment that you're using. It's the same in Siege. So if you're able to utilize these positions, utilize this utility, you can win the round. But it all depends on the player behind the keyboard. And Hale, he's going to shut down Boot.
Ooh.
And he's going to find a second onto Malachi.
He's
and all of a sudden, it's even Steven, Tiaki.
Well, Hale with those 2 kills has completely opened up sight, so they can look to move a player down and get a plant in if he decides to drop at the opposite avenue. Am I wrong? Is it the wrong side? I think it might be the wrong side. I'm wrong. I am absolutely wrong. I thought it was a CCTV. I'm completely lost. My apologies. Regardless, they'll start making their move up as they look to try and control this gym. Still 3 players are going to be ready. Nitrocell will be prepped underneath, but it won't find anything yet as River, he'll look to start making a play. Ryan's going to actually drop down, so he'll give away his position for the movement and for the betterment of the rest of his team. Flashbangs will come through, but that will be picked up. Hale's able to pick up Rico. River's able to pick up Captain Oz. Owen will look for one, but that will be it. As match point round, Naughty Sausages.
That's unfortunate for Altered Edge. They had that man advantage, and then they let Hale just walk in on them, like all of them, 3 of them to be exact. And there's just going to be a little bit of a miscommunication there or something. I think with those picks, they didn't choose to fall off from that cash CC side, and maybe that's why you were confused as to where the site was, because in reality, Altered Edge should have fell off there. Or at least tried to, for the most part. If they were stuck, then that's fair enough. But I don't think that they were stuck. I think it could have been a possibility that they could have rotated out of there. And it ended up costing them the round. And now they're faced with the impossible. They need to win 4 rounds in a row. Otherwise, this is GG. This is us done here for today, Tiaki. And I don't want it to be done just yet.
I think give Altered Edge 2 more rounds, Naughty. Come on. Or Altered Edge, take 2 more rounds for yourselves, at least. And then it will be a very interesting situation. We've just been told that Altered Edge are the only team that have successfully so far in this entire tournament come back from a 6-2 position. So, I will eat any part of my words that I've said so far. This looks like their demon area. Looks like their demon time. And so far, it looks like it could be Altered Edge on the comeback, if they do so decide.
Yeah, it's all dependent, I'd say, on this. Well, this is the round. They have to win this round, but it would make this sort of a deja vu be more plausible. If they win it more comfortably. And I'd say if it was close to a flawless, they could definitely be in the works. But they have to put that work in first. But it looks like Rico, he's trying to do a little bit of a bandit trick. Because, Thatcher is in play. But by the looks of it, they're not running Thatcher. Oh. Captain Oz, though, with the blitz, he's able to shut down Voon. And that's your Doc off the board. I don't know why Docs today have been the first pick. But the medic will be eliminated. But don't worry, Harry's there. He's there to eliminate the bandit as well. So no trick's going to be coming out from him. And now Altered Edge are in a tough situation. But unfortunately, the reload was cancelled. So he only had 1 bullet there. That was a bit of an awkward engagement. But Owen, he's going to be careful of his Claymore. And it's just chaos, Tiaki. Endless chaos right now.
Well, Owen's able to pick up one onto Orion, as now he'll settle back in towards the site. Malachi also going to be joining his teammate, trying to protect and hold everything that they've got dear in this site as we start to see a few players making their move up. Diffuser has been dropped. I'm not sure exactly where just yet, but that's going to be Hills to find one. He needs to find one more. It's going to be Owen. The damage is dealt, but it's not enough as he's able to pick up Hills, but that is it! A 1-for-1 trade, swung by 2, and immediately Naughty Sausages will come up as your victory, as your winners for this match. Harry M giving a lovely thumbs up to the camera, and happy days for them.
It's a pretty comfortable win for Naughty Sausages. Even though Altered Edge won some, 2 rounds, for the most part, it was off the mistakes of Naughty Sausages. I think some of the rounds were a little bit closer here and there, but it just seemed that Naughty Sausages, they had a better grip on that game entirely, and I think Altered Edge, they just weren't quite ready for the aggression that they were showing. So I think, if they want to go back to Clubhouse anytime in the future against Naughty Sausages, they can have a little look at the way that they were playing, and maybe just in general, be a little bit more cautious with aggressive teams and how they play. So I think, taking your time a little bit, getting out of those spawns, ensuring that you don't get spawn peaked, that was a huge part and detriment to them on their attack. And unfortunately, they had too much to come back from, and there was a lot to ask. But 7-2 victory for Naughty Sausages. How did you feel about that game as a whole, Tiaki?
I mean, it showed right then and there. Naughty Sausages, they were in full control for a lot of that game, for a lot of that map as a general whole. Spawn peaks were coming out via them. They are one of the most aggressive, if not the most aggressive team in the competition, just because of the fact that they have basically stacked their entire team with a lot of fraggers. As a generalized whole, the entire team is basically fraggers. So they are going to be aggressive. They're going to push you to your limits. And in that battle, unfortunately, they were the better team mechanically. And I guess just as a general whole, they were the better team coming out of Clubhouse.
Yeah, I think, they definitely had something to show, and it definitely is going to help them, because we did talk about how all these games today have been influential on where they would end up on the leaderboard. So it's going to be really interesting when we have that chat very shortly with Chef about how the playoffs will all work and where the teams will end up on the leaderboard. But we still have the last interview of the regular season and of today, Tiaki. I don't know who it's with, though. Do you know who it's with?
It's with Life. Yo, it's Life, I believe. Or just Life, whichever way that you wish to say it. And welcome, Life. How are you doing on this fine evening?
Yeah, great. And yourself? Amazing.
Absolutely amazingly, my friend. Absolutely brilliantly. Now, last game, as you saw, your team played exceptionally well. You guys had the control that you were looking for. You knew how to play against Altered Edge. And you even brought Captain Oz back to play. Do you think it was a bad idea for the opposition team to actually ban out Pulse? Not ban out Pulse.
I think it was pretty stupid on their end not to ban Pulse when Captain Oz is only known for that, to be honest.
Not too bad.
He sort of tore through the attacking side of Altered Edge there, but going into that match, were you guys confident that you could take a clean sort of victory like that? Because even with the rounds that you lost,
I wasn't too confident on like a 7-3 or a 7-2, but I was confident that it would be like a closer game because I've seen those guys in ranks. Like AE's not that bad at the game. I didn't expect that from my team, to be honest, because we don't practice at all. We haven't done anything together at all as a team. So yeah, they did a great job.
Well, now that you're coming into the playoff as part of this tournament, do you guys think that you will be trading, especially up against the teams that you're going up against? I mean, we have Bandits and everyone else earlier tonight. Like, who do you think you guys will be prepared for those matches?
I think as a team, I reckon we can just go in it with the same mental we went into it with this game, and I reckon we can take on any team, to be honest. With the mental we've had with all the other teams, it's been like we've been pretty worried on what the scores are going to end up with. But now that we're in playoffs, it's kind of like we're free to play how we want. It's kind of like we've made it. So yeah, at the end of the
That
day, it's
is
good.
true. That is true. But obviously, with these playoffs, they're best of threes. Do you reckon that the team, even though you guys don't, practice or anything like that, do you guys reckon you have the stamina to go into potentially 3 maps, minimum of 2?
I reckon best of threes are probably better for us because it gives us the warm up that we needed. Because on the first map it could be like a attacker sided, and then the second map it could be a defender sided problem. But we can just like clear it up throughout those maps and easily win it. To be honest.
Well, thank you so much for coming on to the player interview for us this evening, Life. You have been absolutely amazing, and thank you for your work. Catch you later, my friend.
See you, Life.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes for all the games this evening, but we do have a person to come and have a chat with us regarding this, regarding the playoffs. Every person's position, every team's section, and how the playoffs will look. So, shall we welcome back, KJ? Chef Jeff.
Yeah, I think we should. And he has a lot to share on what is to come, and I think everyone, including all the teams, should be very excited for the way it's all going to work. But I'm very keen for the playoffs. How about you, Tiaki?
I'm ready. I'm revving.
Hello. Hello, gentlemen. Oh my god, wait, it's Elijah's cam. Elijah's returned.
I am Elijah. Right now.
Tiaki's taken over. It's been a really good night of games. I think some results went a bit differently than expected. I think I got every single one of my predictions wrong tonight, but that's perfectly fine. I'm here to be wrong. It's the last Playday, and the results have really shaped the leaderboard in a way that I don't really think I would have seen coming. But that's because I predicted differently, I guess. How do we feel about the games, KJ?
I think with the way that those games go, it just goes to show that even though we predict and things will happen, it doesn't mean what is happening? Too many people. It doesn't mean that those results will come to light, and I think the teams that won today, it caught us off guard. And I think that just goes to show that we might think one thing will happen, but another thing will happen. And if we have a look at that lovely leaderboard there, we can see the final positions of the entire Playday. But Chef, what are your thoughts on those positions?
With the games panning out the way they did, it's very, very close. As you can see, you got Naughty Sausages and Trident. Same points, different round differential, so Naughty Sausages have pulled ahead there. Now, with the instance of Bandits and Kill Squad, same points, same round differential, same win-loss. So that's come down to the head-to-head, and because last week Kill Squad came out on top of Bandits, Kill Squad take that pole position on top of the leaderboard, and they have received the advantage that first place gets in the regular season of picking their first-round opponent in the playoffs. So given that they get that pick, they get to choose between Bandits, Panic, and Naughty Sausages. So when we pan over to the playoffs bracket, we'll get to see who they've decided to go with. The 5th and 6th teams, Nutty and Trident, start in lower bracket round 1. And as we can see here, Kill Squad have chosen to play against Naughty Sausages in the first round. Now, finishing in 4th, it's going to be a bit iffy for Naughty Sausages to kind of find their grip in that game. Kill Squad has shown themselves to be a very strong team in the tournament so far. So it'll be very interesting to see what comes off of that. Bandits and Panic, they'll have a rematch of straight away in the first round. That should be a banger. These are all best of 3s. So it should be an amazing, amazing sight to watch. As for how the lower bracket will work, basically, the lowest seed losing in the winners bracket rounds will go to the lower bracket round 2. So if Naughty Sausages lose their game against Kill Squad, they'll be in lower bracket round 2 because they were the 4th seed. But if Kill Squad loses to Naughty Sausages, Kill Squad will go to lower bracket round 3 as they are a higher seed from the regular season. I think that is basically the only complication with it. It's a bit iffy, but I feel like once it pans out and all the games get played, we can see how that shapes around the bracket. But I think if games go as expected, you're kind of going to be seeing Kill Squad more than likely to come ahead of Naughty Sausages. We could see an upset, but what we're going to see is a close matchup between Bandits and Panic, and an underdog story, hopefully coming from Naughty Sausages in the upper bracket. And then we have for the lower bracket, Trident versus Nutty. It's a rematch. Trident put on a big fight today, and they played really well, and they took out Nutty. It was a really good game to watch, and I think that Trident have a lot more to show, and I can't wait to see them play in best of threes. KJ, you got any thoughts on what we're seeing here?
I think that, you know, the fact that we get 2 rematches, it will go to show who does their sort of homework, and as well as it's a best of 3. So I think a lot of these teams, they have better best of 3 potential than best of 1 potential. So it'll be interesting to see how those results change in the playoffs, because you know, regular season, best of 1s. You could get lucky with the map that you're picking and the side that you start out on, like Life mentioned in that interview. So, you know, they were saying that they would probably be better in a best of 3. So maybe it is an underdog story for them when they go up against Kill Squad. But I think it's going to be rather interesting the way that this playoffs will work. And I like the structure of it. And I think that it'll be one to watch for sure. But Tiaki, how do you feel about these playoffs?
So far in this competition has been playing best of 1s. The stamina of the teams may or may not be there depending on how they operate. So far, a lot of these teams, they have played in best of 3s for a long period of time. However, they have specifically just been playing best of 1s. I'm not sure whether or not they will have the stamina to continue in these games, or whether or not we'll see some withdrawal from a few of the teams going through. But it will be a very interesting setup. It will be a very interesting set of games, and make sure you guys are there, because again, they're all best of 3s. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, so we are still working on confirming dates. We will be announcing those as soon as possible. The teams will be informed, and we'll be posting these across the social media platforms that we have, and we'll be letting everyone know when these games are going to be played. And we want to be making sure that we get as many people seeing such a strong competition from the top of the leaderboard as we've seen from this last play day. It's been a very good day of competition, and I think best of 3s are just going to bring the best out of all the teams that have made this playoffs bracket, and I can't wait to see who comes out on top in the grand final.
That is the question. You know, who will get to that grand final? Who will be the 2 teams that take it all? And I guess we'll see it all unfold when we get those dates, you know, sorted. But I guess, you know, we can have a cheeky prediction now if we want. Who do you think will take it, Chef? Take it all.
I don't know. I think it could go anyway. I think that I would love to see Trident run the bracket all the way to the grand final. I think they have the potential to do it with how they're playing, and I think that with how best of 3s will play out, I think they'll have a good read on who they're playing, and I think they'll be able to put up a good fight throughout the lower bracket.
I'll be honest, I'm thinking Panic. I've supported Panic, and actually, you know what? I'm not sure. Panic and Kill Squad have been the 2 teams that I've been supporting no matter what throughout this entire series, and we've seen some amazing plays from both of those 2 teams, including the fact that Panic had a long streak where they were up the top, and then obviously Kill Squad coming in at the very end to gain control of that top position. So I'm going to say I reckon the grand finals will be Panic and Kill Squad, but I'm not 100% sure going to say who's going to win, because I cannot confirm it. I just know that will be our grand final most likely.
Sounds
what about you, KJ?
Good. I'm torn. There's so much, you know, so many lovely people, as well as, you know, good gunners on all these teams. I don't know. I think I'm just more so happy that we get to see them all play in a best of 3 format, if I'm being honest. So no matter which teams get to that grand final, no matter which team wins, I'll be happy either way. But I would love for Trident to make it through that lower bracket. You know, they've been blessed ever since I've seen them play. And it'd be awesome to see them go all the way and continue that momentum. Because I do believe they're the ones that won a lot of games in a row after losing their first few matches, if I'm right, Chef.
I think about 4 weeks ago they were in either 9th or 10th place, and they were all contesting all the way up to 4th place today until Naughty Sausages won that game.
So that is a crazy effort.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you all for your continued support as we finish the regular season. As we go to sign off for this evening, make sure you show all the teams love. That's Chef Jeff over there. Excuse me. Chef Jeff over there. I'm Chef Jeff, and that is KJ Assassin as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we hope you've had a wonderful evening. We hope to see you next Wednesday or when the dates are confirmed for the best of 3 matches in the playoff rounds, and we will see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful night. Catch you guys later.
See you guys.
See ya.